Breaking on NBC Boston tonight, a suspected murderer on the loose in Lowell.
Oh, they're searching everywhere. Matter of fact, they're searching my house right now.
We're live with multiple crews on the scene while residents remain locked in their homes and police frantically search the area. Plus, an NBC News exclusive.
But I have to do the right thing for the American people. He's the wrong man for that position.
President Trump's first interview since firing James Comey as he talks about what's next for the FBI. Also,
tomorrow, lots of clouds. That's nothing new, but this storm is, and it's a big one coming in for Mother's Day. The latest coming up. NBC Boston Tonight starts now.
And thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Shannon Malaire.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. Welcome to NBC Boston Tonight. We want to get you right to that breaking news. It's been more than 7 hours now since the last confirmed sighting of a murder suspect in Lowell.
At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a continuous update from the Lowell Police Department's Twitter account that includes a photo and a description of the man considered armed and dangerous.
Tonight, we are bringing you live team coverage on the ground and from above as police go door to door. Let's begin with Catherine Sotnick. Kat?
And Phil, this is a very violent man wanted for murder early this morning here in Lowell. Tonight, we can tell you the ground search has just ended here in the Highlands area. The shelter in place has also been lifted, but the suspect is still on the loose. A massive manhunt in the Highlands area of Lowell for an armed murderer. Mass State Police, SWAT teams, and local police going door to door for hours looking for this man. 51-year-old Ross Elliott of Lowell, accused of shooting a woman in the head and killing her on Stevens Street around 7:30 Thursday morning.
Remain in your house. Do not open the door to someone that you are not expecting.
The manhunt intensifying after Elliott was sighted around 4:30 in the evening by a firefighter.
During that sighting, the resident was confronted. Mr. Elliott produced a handgun, pointed it at the resident, and then fled on foot.
The details of the homicide horrific. NBC Boston has learned the victim was a mother. She was murdered in the common area of the apartment building while her daughter and another family member were home. Police say the two had a domestic relationship at some point. Now officials say Elliott could be anywhere.
There's no indication he's getting help at this point, but we're not sure if there are other people that he knows in the area.
And there will be extra police patrols in this area tonight. And police say if you see this guy at all, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately. Live in Lowell tonight, I'm Catherine Sotnick, NBC Boston.
All right, Kat, thanks. And NBC Boston's Michael Rosenfield is also live in the middle of the search tonight.
And Michael, residents have been told earlier to stay inside their homes, and you talked with a few of them. What are they saying tonight?
Well, Shannon, residents just want this guy to be captured at this point. Nobody knows where he is, if he's still in town and hiding or if he's long gone. The SWAT team going into garages, knocking on doors, house to house in this Lowell neighborhood. Scary out here tonight?
Very I got goosebumps just thinking about such a thing.
Joyce Ansara, one of the many here in the Highlands area of the city whose home was searched.
When my husband got home from work, the gate was opened. So he ended up talking to the SWAT team and letting them know, and they're in the process of searching our house.
It's been a chaotic day here with streets blocked off and armed officers roaming the neighborhood.
I saw the police at the Jewish synagogue over there trying to look through the synagogue and stuff to see if they saw him over there.
Many of those who were arriving home weren't allowed to get too close. The SWAT team asking residents if they'd seen anything suspicious or if anything seemed to be out of place.
Oh, they're searching everywhere. Matter of fact, they're searching my house right now.
Residents told to shelter in place and not to answer their doors to strangers.
It's scary, especially because I have a child, and I heard that this was a female victim, so as a female, obviously, it's scary, but, you know, you just work with each other, help each other out, and, you know, just do the best that you can to provide help for one another.
So even though the active ground search in this neighborhood has now come to an end for the night, Lowell police have stepped up patrols here and they are still responding to tips and leads. Live in Lowell tonight, Michael Rosenfield, NBC Boston.
All right, Michael, thank you. And of course, we will stay on top of this story, bringing you live pictures on the search throughout the newscast tonight. You can also go to NBCBoston.com for any breaking updates. Click the banner at the top of the home screen.
Now we want to get a quick check of your early warning weather forecast with meteorologist Pete Bouchard.
Pete, you're getting a better idea of exactly when all this rain is going to start this weekend.
Shannon, it looks like it's in the afternoon on Saturday into Sunday morning. And the storm track is farther offshore. That bodes well in terms of strong wind offshore and also heavy rain offshore. Here it is, the storm in all its glory. Lots of heavy weather around Memphis, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorms. That comes to us as our rain over the weekend. In the meantime, back to this lovely weather. We did have a few windows of sunshine today. Tomorrow morning, we'll start off with showers. I know that because I see them coming down through Portland. They're light and they're spotty, and it's first thing in the morning, too. We have some moonlight out there. The clouds will come back to us, though, and our temperatures will hold in the lower 50s. Highs in the 50s tomorrow, nothing new there. Possibly the same for Saturday. Tracking the storm and the rainfall amounts in just a minute.
All right, Pete, we'll see you then. Thank you. Rentham police want some help finding a man who appeared to be taking pictures of kids at a bus stop. Resident reported the man acting suspiciously near Heather Lane off West Street. The car involved is an older model tan sedan driven by a man in his 40s or 50s with dark hair and glasses. Call police if you know anything. Tonight, an NBC News exclusive. Right now, live pictures of the White House only hours after the country watched President Trump's one-on-one interview with NBC News' Lester Holt.
The topic of focus, at least one of them, President Trump's decision to fire James Comey. Our Joy Lim Nakrin reports.
I was going to fire Comey. My decision. It was not.
You had made the decision before they came in the room.
I was going to fire Comey.
Those comments as the White House insists the firing of FBI Director James Comey was not related to the fact that Comey was investigating the Trump team's possible collusion with Russia. The president also telling Lester Holt he personally asked Comey if he was being investigated.
I said, if it's possible, would you let me know, am I under investigation? He said, you are not under investigation.
But he's given sworn testimony that there is an ongoing investigation into the Trump campaign and possible collusion with the Russian government.
But also today, the acting FBI director, Andrew McCabe, said it is not standard practice for the FBI to inform someone if they are not being investigated. That raising questions about whether the president wants a director that would inform him or perhaps not investigate him at all.
But when you put out tweets, it's a total hoax, it's a taxpayer charade, and you're looking for a new FBI director, are you not sending that person a message to lay off?
No, I'm not doing that. I think that we have to get back to work, but I want to find out, I want to get to the bottom. If Russia hacked, if Russia did anything having to do with our election, I want to know about it.
Well, there's already intelligence from virtually every intelligence agency that, yes, that happened.
Also today, the acting FBI director denied White House claims that the agency's rank and file had lost confidence in Comey. Reporting live, Joy Lim Nakrin, NBC Boston.
Joy, thank you. This is new tonight. The majority of Americans believe President Trump's firing of James Comey was not appropriate. We're just getting our hands on these numbers from the latest NBC News Survey Monkey poll. As you can see, 54% disagree with the president's decision, 38% did find it appropriate. For a look at the entire poll, you can go to NBCBoston.com and search survey. Also, for the very latest developments and more reaction about James Comey's firing, you can tune into the Today Show tomorrow, immediately following NBC Boston Today. That begins at 4:30.
Happening tomorrow, the trial in that deadly Quincy bar brawl continues. Witnesses gave gripping testimony today, saying suspect Paul Fahey bragged after he allegedly punched and stomped on Keith Boudreau's head back in 2015. Boudreau later died from those injuries. The defense is expected to claim self-defense. Investigators say there was no foul play in the death of a boy at Carson Beach in South Boston last year. 7-year-old Kaiser Willis drowned after he made his way to the water without supervision. They believe the drowning was accidental. The city announced a number of safety improvements after that to help prevent another tragedy. Right now, police are searching for this woman here caught stealing a bottle of tequila in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Surveillance camera caught the woman slipping that bottle there into her purse and leaving the liquor store without paying for it. You can see she's also with a young child at the time. If you recognize that woman, please call police.
Next, you drive over them every day, but with so many explosions, who is inspecting manholes? Tonight, the NBC Boston investigators dig deeper. Plus,
for lease signs, empty building, what it means for shoppers and shopkeepers here on Newberry Street.
And new tonight, a mother from Manchester, New Hampshire, fighting for her life as her newborn twins remain hospitalized. Her husband's emotional interview as he refuses to give up hope.
And before we head to break, a quick look from our Sky Ranger right now as we continue to follow the search for a suspected murderer in Lowell. Multiple crews on the scene, and we will update you the moment we have any new information. NBC Boston Tonight back in 60 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, the NBC Boston investigators are digging deeper into something you drive over every day, what one expert calls as powerful as a bomb.
NBC Boston investigator Karen Hensel looking into the growing number of manhole explosions.
With so many manhole explosions in Massachusetts in the last year, and at least 2 this year, the NBC Boston investigators started asking questions. Why does it keep happening, and who is overseeing it? Turns out, apparently no one.
Boston's Government Center last month. A manhole cover exploding.
It's as powerful as a bomb. People can be killed.
Doug Sheff is a Boston attorney.
That should be a warning sign. Don't wait until one of these manhole covers decapitates somebody.
Eric Brack of Holliston was one of those close calls.
My shoulder was fractured, my jaws were fractured, I lost teeth.
Just 18 back in 2004, he nearly died as he and his dad drove along Route 135 in Natick.
Just driving along, and then there was an explosion, and the truck was filled with flames.
A 185-pound manhole cover crashing through the windshield of his Tahoe. The track star's running career over as he underwent a dozen surgeries. In most Massachusetts cities, the wiring is buried under the street. But why the explosions?
After the winter salting of our roads, when it rains, it can carry those corrosive salts down into areas below these manhole covers where the wires exist and run and erode the insulation around those wires.
The wiring catches fire, creating a flammable toxic gas building pressure in the manhole. The next spark ignites the gas, sending manhole covers flying. Through a public records request to the Department of Public Utilities, the NBC Boston investigators learned utilities have reported 66 manhole explosions since 2010. The utility reporting the most? National Grid with 48. In reaction to injuries like Eric Brack, the state in 2005 commissioned this report. It recommended utilities start a regular 5-year inspection schedule and replace aging wires and connections.
The penalty for not conducting inspections? DPU says there isn't one. Utility companies don't even have to submit the inspection details, just quarterly reports.
Eversource says it inspected all manholes over 10 years. National Grid inspected manholes 6 years ago, but wouldn't say if they've been inspected since. Meanwhile, Brockton has been rocked repeatedly by explosions.
Did have about a dozen fires and smoke through manholes throughout the downtown.
Bill Carpenter is the Brockton mayor.
When the manhole cover comes off and the flames are shooting up, now that becomes a city problem, and our fire department has responded to every single one of these.
Carpenter says National Grid replaced old wiring and installed new vented covers on a quarter of their manholes.
So in the event that there is some type of underground fire, it allows some of the pressure to get out from under the system.
I think that this is an injury or a death waiting to happen.
Karen Hensel, NBC Boston.
A Massachusetts man has filed multiple lawsuits against businesses all around Boston. Raul Marati has cerebral palsy and says some of the businesses are violating the Americans with Disabilities Act, also known as the ADA. Marati and his attorneys claim many bars and restaurants have doors that are simply too narrow for his wheelchair or are just not up to ADA standards.
I think we've gotten the best results for the clients by the lawsuit because a defendant is more apt to respond to that.
Well, federal court records show Marati and his legal team have filed nearly 100 ADA lawsuits in Massachusetts in the past few years and won settlements in almost every case.
All right, a quick look at Instagram will back this next story up. Newbury Street is one of the most photographed places in Boston, but if you look past the filters, you start to notice not every shop is open for business. NBC Boston's Susan Tran joins us from the Back Bay tonight with more on that. Susan?
Phil, as you're strolling down Newbury Street, you'll be sure to see signs like this, for lease. Then there's an empty building, another empty building. Across the street, 4 more just on this block. And some say some of these buildings have been empty for years.
Brittany Bang visits her old storefront with much nostalgia.
You had these big paw prints right here
that said Audrey's Pet Supply up there.
In 2013, she says she was forced to close her Newberry Street pet shop because the new landlord was jacking up the rent.
133% increase. I looked at them a couple times. They said, I sell dog food, not diamonds.
For 4 years, it sat empty, and a stroll down Boston's famed luxury destination, and you'll see that what many of these buildings are selling are empty spaces.
It's the first time ever that I've seen, like, literally in every block there's a for lease sign.
The Back Bay Business Association says there are roughly 30 empty storefronts between Arlington and Mass Ave, mainly because retail in general is struggling with so many shopping online. Add to that the high rents and you get the 10% vacancy. But she says this transitional phase will lead to more international brands set to call Newberry Street home.
Wow.
For Brittany, she sees a place that's changed building owners twice since her shop, but still sits empty.
I walk by it every day and it breaks my heart.
Now, there are initiatives to bring more people down here to Newberry Street. There's Open Boston, which means that they're going to close the street to car traffic so more people could be out here strolling along. For now, we are live on Newberry Street in Boston. Susan Tran, NBC Boston.
All right, Susan, thank you. Still to come, the big name coming to The Voice, who got her start on another singing show.
Plus, Pete Bouchard tracking a Mother's Day washout in your early morning weather forecast. Also,
she's the heart of the Ramsey family.
She brightens everyone's day.
But now Christopher Ramsey's wife, Marlena, needs a heart of her own. 26-year-old mother of 4 is on life support and needs a heart transplant after having...
And a father's hope as his wife fights for her life. His emotional interview about the woman he loves and their 4 children when NBC Boston News returns.